G'day viewers, Ivan here from Peak Offroad, Wetherill Park, Sydney, Australia. And today we've got a fairly long video for you here. We've got the Bush Company Alpha. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a long video. We helped Dean launch this, or Bush Company launch this last October at the Eastern Creek show, which is quite a large show. And it was one of the first times it was actually shown to the public. And since then it's been a great success. The tent's fantastic. The reason we haven't done a review right from the get-go is, like everything, we want to see the products that come out associated with it, and also how the tent is, fitting onto vehicles, and just working out exactly how things are going to go. So what we're going to go through today is pretty simple. We're going to show you the tent, we're going to show you the accessories, I'm going to give you some measurements internally, and I'm going to show you how to mount the tent onto specific vehicles. So we'll be running through it pretty in depth. So it's pretty much everything you need to know about this tent and how to mount it onto your vehicle. Without further too much mucking around, we're going to quickly go for an overview of the tent, and coming out, have a look. It's a beauty. Well, here we go. We're in the tent now, and as you can see, it's a beauty. The width-wise of the tent internally, so between the two rails here, between here and here, is 1300. So it's not quite a double, but again, the overall width of the tent is 1400. So with the gas struts on the outside, it gives you that extra internal space against the for both, for having the struts internally mounted and externally mounted. As you can see here, this was a very early tent. In actual fact, it was basically the first tent in the country. I think Dean's got one and a couple of others that came on the first batch. And so these were more like a prototype tent. Since then, since really the production run, it's gotten a lot better, a lot more neater with the wiring internally, but basically it's still exactly the same tent. As you see here, both his and hers, electrical sockets, which has USBs and Anderson plug, and also a cigarette lighter attachment. Up the top here it's carpeted, and we have these Velcro pockets. So depends on where you want to put them. You can just move them up a bit further or down. We always pulling these on and off and getting it further down and further up and showing customers that way. The roof of the tent is pretty nice, insulated wide. It's not a great deal, but again, you know, you cannot get it like 100% insulated. What we have at a great advantage of this tent is double layered. So we have an inside and an outside layer. So this has got twin canvas. Coming with a twin canvas, that gives you a little bit of extra help with moisture-wise, so you're not soaking through both canvases. If it gets to that point, then everything is really wet, so you've got to work your way around that. But that helps greatly, I mean greatly. Also, you have on this one, you have an inside privacy screen. Then you have, coming this way, a midgie-proof fly screen. And then we have an outside screen as well, another privacy screen. So we have actually 3 screens on this, so you can choose whichever one you want. Really, the mattress itself is 75 millimeters. Overall, it's 2.2 meters. Externally wise, this tent is 2.25 meters. So various pockets, bottle holders, it's got pockets galore. It's the tent with the most amount of storage in it. The mattress for me is pretty comfy, so I'm pretty cool with that. And yeah, it's a lovely tent inside. It really is pushing the boundaries for the tents, and people are going to start, you know, shaping up to have so much storage in your tent. All right, now we're done with that. I don't think we've missed anything else. Oh, sorry about this. See this lighting? This is now nice, packed away. Don't worry about this one. Like I said, this is an early tent just for us. And yes, they're not like that anymore. And yes, it is midgie-proof mesh. So let's go outside and have a look at this awning. Okay, awning. This is controversial in one ways, but a great thing in other ways. So what they've done here, and to my right here, just to give you an idea, is the early series, Black Series Bush Company tent. This has never gave us any problems at all. It's been a wonderful tent, and the new upgrade version of that. This is still for sale, and it is much significantly lower price. A great tent. But the big factor here was it had an awning, so you can leave the windows down, and when it rains, hey, you can leave the windows down. So if it's steamy, hot up in the tropics, you've got some little bit of shelter and a little bit of sun shelter as well, so you're not getting beamed in. But in saying that, with this awning here, it is like a monsoon awning, so it is big. It gives you lots of protection. The only downfall part of it is big. That means it takes a little bit more space internally, but that's up to you guys to decide the advantages to lose a little bit of space, because all this awning or this canvas has to go inside the tent. So just a little bit more mucking around. I'll show you how it goes down. It's not a lot of mucking around, but it is removing internal space inside the tent. Now, for me, I don't mind that, because you get the advantage of having an awning right round and a good sized one. They are also removable, so they're a matter of just undoing the front clips, and there's a sail track right up the top, and we just pull it out. So you don't have to have an awning at all, or if you want to wash it, and they have different awning options as well. So just go down to the Bush Company website and have a look at that. The straps, the storm straps, this stops pooling. It's all pretty simple. You just undo them, throw them inside, and the two spring poles as per normal. So that's the go on the awning. Good, bad, not bad, good, painful, great. So it's really up to you. The only real downfall, again, like I said, is it is actually taking internal space for the amount. So that's basically a pillow. So normally with my tents, I normally take 4 pillows, and you'll fit 3 easily now. So, but the advantage is you can leave all your windows open on a steamy night with a bit of drizzle, or on a hot day, a lot less chance of sun coming in. So that's the rundown on the awning. All right, now let's go have a look at the rails at the front, and then we'll talk about fitting. Right, wait a second, because I pulled it off. All right, see, this is a ladder mount right here. What we've got here is a ladder mount. They also give you another ladder mount, which is over here, which I subsequently stole. Hey, that happens. But basically just the bolts on, and you can move it left and right as you please. Now, the great thing about these is it's got these, what would you call it? Extrusion, where you can run the bolts in. So you basically run the nuts in, and I'll show you. I'll just grab one now. So let me go around the back and grab one. So you see how prepared I am, guys. So basically you've got an M8 bolt, a nut, and you just run it in here and just take that off. And now you've got yourself a fixing point. Artie, you want to just show that to, right? So, and you want to take it out. So all you need to do is run the bolts in. Into the extrusion, and then you just screw into your bolts as whatever you need. So I'm going to go get the table out. We'll go around to the front. So around to the front, before we go on, gas strut, let's talk about that. The gas strut itself is 650 Newton meters, last time I checked. Yes, it is. There are 650 Newton meters, and they're in the vertical position. Now this is pretty important for load rating, what you can put on the top of the tent. When they're in a vertical position like this, the tent has to compress down, and then the actual, the strut moves down into the angle as it comes down. So when it is in this position, this is the strongest it can be. So if you had your strut mounted like the old tents, which were mounted already half falling down, there was a lot less load rating. Not a lot, but significant enough. What it means is you can move the load on your roof further to the back end. So you can actually put those max tracks right at the back, and it has no real effect. Where when you have too much at the back, it's very hard to lift and it comes down in a flurry. So this alleviates that problem. So that's a great feature on it. Also at the front here, you have these proprietary hinges of Bush companies. It's a double row hinge, so it's an inner and outer, and they're made by the Bush company themselves. Another great effect, and you can actually move these hinges left and right. So if you wanted to put a light bar here, you can move this hinge across, which is a great thing. So you can actually decide where you want within reason, but there is 4 of them for that. Up the top here you have rails, which you run either a nut or a bolt through, and they just run in up here. And I'm going to show you that as well now. So what we'll do now is I'll bring out my little table and I'll show you some accessories that go onto this to make your life a little bit easier. So let's go grab that table. All right, now we've got down to the accessories parts of things. Now with Bush Company and the Alpha tents, it's been a little while and we've had a little bit of time to develop some accessories. This is just a number of a few accessories that we do have for the Alpha tent. Now, we have shovel mount holders, which are here in stock. We also have these mounting brackets. So I'll grab these first for the spotlights. So Artie, when you look at this one here, you can mount the spotlight like if it's a light bar. So you have one that way, can I do that way? Like that. Or if you want to mount just spotlights themselves, you move it that way. Because there's holes either way, and they just, like I said before, you'll just run your nut into the extrusion and just roll the bolt in. So that's pretty straightforward. The same with the shovel mount holders. You just run the nut internally and you mount your shovel mount holder on so. Again, a very simple system. Now we'll go to the awning mount. And so this is the awning mount. Now I've configured this to the right hand side because that's how all the cameras are here today. So this does right and left hand, this awning bracket. So it's just a matter of taking this off and put it on the other side, and I'll show you how that goes now. So we've got the mounting bracket, like I said, it is right or left, so it doesn't really matter. You put the 4 nuts in, and then you just mount it up like that. Right, and this little hole here, sorry I haven't mounted it up. This little hole here, you put your spring pole in through there now. So now the spring pole is out and away from your awning, which is a great effect. Also, you can turn this one upwards if you wanted to have a straight out awning, like a 180 degree straight out, and you can mount the awning up high if you so desire. Also, the great thing about these tents, you can mount this on the front as well. So what happens is we've found with, say, the 79 series, so we put that back. What we found was with the 79 series, a lot of guys have gone for an option B. Now, they've got a big canopy off the back and they've got 2 big wheels and yeah, it's just a lot hard to get in and out because when you've got 2 people in the tent, you don't want to use the side ladder, you want to go out the back. That way you don't have to chuck a Yui and crawl over each other every time you want to get in and out. So what some of the guys have done, and it's getting more and more common, because they are symmetrical, so the mounting, which I'll show you shortly, the mounting system is the same. So what you can do, say if this is the back of the car, right here, and the front's over there, then if you've got access from the back, great, no problems. If the awning's open, you have to close the awning to get into the back. If you have the access to the right, that's fine too when you've got the awning open. But, you know, the other option is because you've mounted the tent, the mounts are symmetrical, you can turn the tent around. So what it means is the opening is now no longer here, but it is over front of the cab. So if you've got, say, a dual cab 79 series, you will be mounting the ladder actually to the, say, if you've got a Rhino rack, platform rack at the front, and using that as a veranda and walking up and into your tent that way, which also reduces the height of the ladder. So instead of ladder, because these are like made, again, like the speed of light out of China, and unfortunately, there's not really too many other options to be had for the space and what they do. But when you've got a very tall car, say 33s, 2-3-inch lift on top of a Norwell Mitts alloy or other canopies, it gets very tall. And so that option has been coming on more and more to the fore, where the guys are switching the tents around. Now you think, oh, that's strange, that's terrible, what a terrible idea. Wait till you use it, and if you don't like it, it's a matter of just lifting the tent up, turning it around 180, and then you've got the standard mounting. So an option and a half for you guys who have got tall vehicles and have lots of stuff at the back. You can get in and out of your truck, in and out of your tent very easy, and this only works with the Bush Company Alpha. The rest of the tents are configured to go forwards. They've either got a taper in with a taper down, and if you turn it the other way around, it looks very odd. Because this has no taper, it is a square tent, it does not matter. You would not know the difference at all until you open the tent up, and then you, like I said, with this big awning, you have quite a large veranda. So the spring poles are pretty easy. All right, now we're going to get to how to mount the tent. Wow, this is just like a million ways and great options it's had. I'll move this table now and we'll go and show you the mounting stuff. Oh, actually, no, we're going to go to the front. I'm going to show you the load bars that you have here. Come and have a look. Wanted to do the last one because this is pretty cool. So what you got here is an extrusion. It's 1320 long, and it's made for the roof of the tent. Now this extrusion is pretty cool because, did I list my bolt? Yes, I have my bolt here. So what you can do now with this extrusion is you can run the bolt here, here, or here. Now I'll show you what that does. That is pretty mad. Now right here, we have the bolts again, like I showed you before. You can run a bolt up here or the nut up here, and then you can put the extrusion down super low, right? That's how low you can put it down. And that with the right-hand brackets that are supplied, not with the bars, they're a separate entity. With the right-hand brackets and the bolts that way, you can mount that super low. And if you want to mount it a little bit higher, you can get a 40mm spacer to bring the up from 20, 40, 60mm above the top of this rail. So if you've got something you want to put underneath and strap it down. But this is a very low load bar. And no one else has this extrusion that I've seen in the industry. Some have one or two, or just one on the bottom, one on the top, and they're both rounded. So this is a great bar to put on. So for instance, also with the Bush Company, for the accessories, they have made this with this extrusion, the Mattress holders. Basically, this goes on top. You adjust these out. This one moves, this one moves. Put it down, and you can mount anywhere along here 4 Mattress on these brackets. Pretty cool. Again, this wasn't available when the tents first came out. It'd be hard to do the review of the tent then as it is now, since it's been out now 6-7 months. And also with the hardships that we had with the pandemic, yes, a lot more items would have been coming out for this tent. So it's full of added features. Now, I'm going to move this table and we're going to have a look at how we mount this. Right, mounting the tent. Now, because this tent has east-west bars, so like I showed you with the load bars, I'll just grab a load bar actually, right? This load bar is also what is underneath. I just showed you it so you can see what the extrusion is. This is what is underneath the tent, and there are 4 of these mounts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that makes it really hard to mount on a set of, say, Rhino feet, which we won't be using Rhino. There's another company to use, and there's also cheaper versions as well. So because it is mounted this way, the running of the tent is mounted, the mounts on the tent are running east-west. This gives you an advantage to try and get it low. Most other manufacturers have the rails running this way, and then you have to put a rail this way east-west conventionally, and then the foot goes off the back of that. Now, if you have a 80 series or a gutter mount vehicle like 80 series, patrols, most of the older cars with the gutter mounts, the easiest way is just to buy a set of feet, a set of 8 feet, and the company to buy them, which happens to be Australian, we were very fortunate. They've only been around for 30 years, and we've been putting Rhino and this and that and the other. Tracklander in WA, in Australia, make a gutter mount to suit most vehicles, or if not all the vehicles. And that has, pity I don't have one here to show you, it has a really big return. So basically you just put the legs onto your gutters, you mount this, which is on your tent, straight to those legs, and you are finished. Very, very simple and very low. It looks really good. I've got a picture of a GU, which I'll get Artie to insert here now, and you can have a look at those pictures now. But very, very nice setup. Now, the other mount, because the other way of doing it is with the famous Z bars. We've been using these. These Z bars can go straight onto your canopy. So in this configuration right now, it is, and Artie, you come and have a look at this nice and close. Right, so up underneath, oh God, I'm getting too old. And if you have a look underneath here, Artie, we have those bars underneath, mate, see? So this Z bar, the holes will line up. If you're up somewhere around here, there you go. You can move it backwards and forwards. Now this can be mounted, this Z bar can be mounted, I'll show you the extrusion. This can be mounted straight onto the top of the canopy. So if you've got a canopy, you mount this on, then you mount that on, and which will give you enough room, or very close to enough room, for your awning. Because you need to lift the tent up if you're going to mount the awning to the brackets that are supplied. You have a lot of movement with that. Remember, we said we can turn them upside down or have them downwards. So again, just mounting it straight like that. Right. Now the other method is, say if you've got a 200 series or any one of those who don't have gutter mounts and mount it in the middle. Normally you would have a Rhino Backbone. Now the Rhino Backbone, unfortunately, is not the greatest fit out for this. Again, Tracklander make this top and then the feet, so they make this like this, and then down to suit a 200, a Prado, an FJ, all the rest. But what that does for you is, because the front runner, Rhinos and all that, they're dedicated spots for the bars to go in, and then there's holes in between. That doesn't quite fit for this, not for a really nice low fit. So what with the Tracklander ones, I don't have shares in this company, by the way. I haven't mentioned them because we've found them to work the best. By far the best fit up you can think of. So again, on top of the Tracklander bar is exactly what we have here now, but all it does, it goes down and straight to the top of your 200 series Land Cruiser. So buy a set of these, mount that directly to that, which is just a matter of, I'll get my trusty bolt. Where's my trusty bolt gone? Here it is. So if you can imagine this, 4 of those, well, I'll undo this. And I'll find a hole, and there you go. Job done. Oh, sorry, it's the other way around. Very simple. That is how to mount it to pretty much 90% of the vehicles on the market. We've mounted these to all sorts of vehicles. So that shows you how to mount it. I will include some photos of of these for you to have a pretty much a peruse over them. The mounting system on this is pretty good, and it's a very low mount. So you don't have a lot of extras to buy, and it's a lot cheaper to buy just the legs or the backbone, which you would normally buy anyway, and then mounting this directly on top. I don't know, so what have we got for the rest of it? Yeah, well, I'll just go around, walk around the tent. Artie's going to do a tent and I will do a finish up. Come on, Artie, let's have a crack. Thank you guys for sticking around so long. I know it's a long video, but there was a lot to say and I only briefly touched on most of the subjects. Hopefully I'll throw some pictures in. The weight of the tent is 94 kilos. Yes, sorry again for dragging you out. Go see Artie's channel for 4X Adventures. He does our editing and he's got some good stuff on there as well, especially if you're an FJ owner, FJ Land Cruiser owner. We'll lock it down. It's done. Enjoy your time. And keep safe, and we'll see you on the next video. Hooroo, guys. Oh, yes, thank God. Another day over. You like my little setup, eh? Get rid of this light. And a tape measure. Right, this one. One pole goes in, pole goes in, a lot of canvas. Grab the stack this way and down it goes. I think I'm ready for a beer, Artie.